the woman that the world tries to silence when she chooses for herself. Since the beginning of time, women have been taught to say yes. Yes for love, yes for care, yes for patience. Yes, even when they wanted to say no. And, for centuries, this yes has been confused with virtue. But the day she learns to say no, the world is scared. Because the silence that before was submission now becomes a voice. And the power that before was invisible now bothers. The woman who has always given, she grew up believing that to love is to serve. That taking care of others was more important than taking care of yourself. That being good was to be available. And so he spent years molding himself to fit, to please, not to disappoint. She learned to smile when it hurt, shutting up when I wanted to scream, to accept crumbs and call it love. The world applauded her for it. What a strong woman, they said. But no one realized that her strength came from the fatigue of not being who she is. 2. The awakening. One day, something inside her changes. It can be a disappointment, a loss, a loneliness, or just the tiredness of always looking in the background. She begins to look at herself with other eyes, questioning what I used to accept, to understand that love cannot cost one's own freedom. And when she begins to choose for herself, to prioritize, to say no, to put limits, the world reacts. They call selfishness what is self-love. They call cold what is self-defense. They call arrogance what is self-knowledge. But she no longer cares, because those who learn the value of their own peace no longer negotiate their own voice. 3. The nuisance of the free woman. A woman who thinks for herself is a threat to a system that lives in control. She does not let herself be manipulated. Do not accept empty promises. You don't need approval to exist. And that is why the world tries to silence it. They try to make her doubt herself. They try to convince her that she is wrong for not following the script. They try to reduce their strength to a defect, but she already understood. There is nothing more dangerous for a society that feeds on female obedience than a woman who finally chooses herself. 4. The price of freedom. Being free has a price. She will lose people. It will disappoint those who fed on your docility. You will hear that it has changed, that it has become distant, that it has become difficult. But it is at this moment that she realizes. It was not she who changed. She just went back to who she always was, only that now without fear. Freedom does not come when the world accepts you. It comes when you accept yourself, even if the world does not understand. 5. The force of no. Saying no is a silent revolution. Is to refuse the role of savior. It is to stop bearing blame that is not yours. It is allowing yourself to rest, even when the world demands that you remain strong. Because sometimes, the greatest act of love is to stop insisting where it hurts. Stop explaining yourself. Stop asking for permission to exist. Her no is not rebellion, it is healing. It is the end point in the stories that hurt her. It is the boundary between what was and what will never be. 6. The rebirth. After she chooses for herself comes the silence. A strange silence at the beginning, because for so long it was noise, presence, solution. But soon this silence becomes home. She learns to listen to her own voice, to trust in her intuition, to be sufficient. She understands that she no longer needs to be the woman who saves, but the woman who lives. And when she is reborn, the world tries again to control her. But now it's too late. Because whoever felt the taste of their own freedom never again accept chains, not even gold. 7. The new love. When she chooses for herself, love also changes. She no longer seeks someone who completes her because he understands that it is already whole. She seeks someone who walks beside, not in front or behind. Love is no longer a flight, it becomes a meeting. It is no longer a need and becomes a choice. And what was once pain is now discernment. She no longer wants to prove her worth, just wants to live love without getting lost in it. 8. The woman that the world does not shut up. The world will keep trying to silence it. Will say that she is difficult, bossy, insensitive. But she knows. These words have always been used to silence women who dare to exist out loud. She no longer cries to be heard. She just lives in such an authentic way that her silence speaks for itself. And it is at this point that she becomes indomitable. Because when a woman understands her own value, no external opinion has more power over it. One day, she understood that choosing herself was not selfishness. It was survival. And that day, the world tried to silence her. But she had already learned to speak the language of freedom. Do you have a story to tell? Send to us. Here, each story is a seed of courage that inspires other women to flourish. Rebuild yourself, because telling your story is also an act of healing.